Welcome back to another episode of the Two Pelicans podcast. So you would have just missed that.
G'day, you Pelicans.
He was sort of hung up on his door.
Go and have a good time with her a bit later on.
Pelicans landing in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the Two Pelicans podcast. I'm Joey.
And I'm Mick, and we are the Two Pelicans.
This is the fishing podcast, making fishing great once again, and we're here to get the average weekend angler through his work week with a smile on his dial, Mick.
Yep, and we're just a big shout out to all you guys out there that have supported us. The feedback's been unreal. Keep it coming in. We're loving it, and we all love hearing from you.
And guys, if you haven't already, don't forget we are at Spotify. That's where you can hear us, and most importantly, the Patreon account, Mick. It's basically where you hear the P's and the Q's. The
P's and the Q's, that's right. And look, if you don't want to spend the $3 a month, just also remember that an auto download on Spotify helps us as well.
That's exactly. Supporting us without costing you an absolute cent. Getting involved with the show, mate.
Getting involved, yeah.
Super simple.
Super simple. What we want to do, we want to hear your fishing triumphs or fuck-ups. Could be anything from a recent topic. Look, anything that you've got there, please send it in to us. Number 2 Pelicans podcast at gmail.com. And if you can keep your yarn to about 2 minutes, that'd be fantastic.
And it can be about anything. It can be about the big fish you caught on the
big
weekend.
Fish.
It could be about how whatever happened, you stuff up, anything. We're happy to hear questions.
Past episode, if you want to bring up a topic from one of our past episodes, 100%. By all means.
Absolutely.
All right.
Mate, how the bloody hell you been?
Mate, been fairly quiet this week. Haven't been doing a hell of a lot.
Yep.
Just been sort of organising some shirts to get more involved into the fishing scene next year.
Yep.
So hopefully we'll see them over the next few weeks or so.
Unreal. Nice. Yeah, no, I haven't got really anything.
Hang on. But you went fishing today.
I went fishing today. Big sea on, huge sea, which we'll probably just talk about in a little minute with our news topic for the week. But yeah, big sea, caught a stack of bream blackfish and just a good day out, you know, just good to get out and just to have a chill out, mate. But no, it has only been a few days since we've last recorded. We're just jamming this in while we can, so we don't have any more bloody blackouts.
Yeah, the old blackouts, the old Essential Energy banger. And look, it's probably, when you just mentioned Big C, it's probably just something to make comment about an incident that's happened today. Apparently,
this would be a few weeks ago.
But there's been a fatality or 2 fatalities.
One fatality and a rescue.
On the Tweed Bar. So,
which
guys,
is terribly sad.
It's really sad. But I'd just like to say, guys, if it doesn't look like worth crossing, don't do it. Don't put yourselves in that position. Just remember to do all the safety stuff, life jackets and all that. But just if it looks dodgy, just don't do it, guys. No, there's always going to be another day, man.
I was on the headland this morning and didn't know that this had unfolded until just before. And I can tell you it was too rough to stand on the headland. So if it's too rough to stand on the headland, it's too rough to cross the bar. It's as simple as that. Look, obviously our condolences.
Condolences,
we don't know the circumstances behind what's happened, but a fatality is a fatality, and it's definitely quite sad. So that's probably really all we've got news this week, mate. Probably something I haven't actually run past, but we'll probably just drop this in now. We're really only going to be a few weeks off AFTA. So we are attending AFTA.
We're going to AFTA.
Which is going to be fantastic. We're going to be a bit of content there, but we're going to jam out some fantastic podcasts that we have mentioned in some previous episodes.
Yes.
We're going to catch up with some pretty cool characters there. Stay posted for that, guys. We haven't really decided what we're doing yet content-wise, but there most likely will be some stuff for the Patreon account. That's
exactly right. I think we'll have a bit of a run around there throughout the day, and then hopefully we're going to bring you a few episodes that night. So with some pretty awesome people. So look, stay tuned. We'll keep you up to date on that front, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. One more thing, our Patreon viewers have probably noticed that we are yet again in a different studio. We're like the wandering gypsies at the moment. We're just popping up where we need to pop up. But we might lock something down in the coming months, something a little bit more permanent. We have a little bit of new podcast equipment coming to try and make things a little bit fancier. So yeah, stay posted with that, guys. If you don't know what we're talking about, pay $3 and head over to Patreon.
That's it.
But Mick, this week's episode, something that we thought was a really great sort of topic to bring up.
Yes.
And it is everything recreational fishing, but mainly where does our license money go? What does it do? So yeah, basically, are we getting our bang for buck?
So we spoke about this topic a few weeks ago, and we thought, you know what, let's pull it into the limelight and discuss it.
I think it's definitely something that, as a license holder, it is nice to know where your money's going. Is it getting spent, or how's it getting spent? Because as we'll mention here, like your fee costs start at $7 for 3 days. It's $14 for a month.
Yep.
$35 for 1 year and $85 for 3 years. So still cheaper than a boat license and a car license.
Yeah.
But
so I think one thing is just there. So in New South Wales we have a license fee. I'm pretty sure there's one in Victoria. None in Queensland, to my knowledge.
There is in Queensland.
Okay.
Only for stocked impoundments.
Stocked impoundments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's a different fee altogether. It's only for a stocked impoundment.
Okay.
So today's chat mainly is going to be about New South Wales.
Yes.
Just because that's what we're familiar with and what we can talk off the top of our head about. So yeah, obviously when you pay your $100 or whatever it is for your car license a year, you're getting the road to use.
That's right.
So what are we getting in return for our license fee? So that's basically where we're going to roll with today's chat.
Yeah. And so just a mindful note, there are exemptions for licences under 18, Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander, veteran or person with disability, and there's also some sort of concession in the Tweed area, maybe because it's sort of right on the Queensland border. I'm not quite sure about that.
Now, I'm just going to quickly dive into something off that topic. The New South Wales fisheries state that your fishing licence must be on your persons. So you either got to save your phone or it's in your wallet. In the car, unfortunately, doesn't cut it with some of these fisheries officers. Now, if you are exempt, that goes the same. So your pension card, any of your veteran cards, you still need to have those on your person.
Yeah, righto.
Yeah, that's something as being a sales for these.
And I think now like 80 odd % of these are being purchased online. And I guess with that, with the Service New South Wales app, you can actually keep it in the app, and it's all pretty sweet.
So for us in a store, just quickly off topic, it actually costs us money to sell a fishing license because we have to pay them. So if these people pay on FPOS, we have a fee off the FPOS, and then at the end of the month we have to withdraw the exact amount and send it to them. So it's just not worth doing.
It's not worth doing,
So let's dive into it then, mate.
Yeah, right. So I guess we'll just start from the top, and let's just talk about what we've got there. Now, all this money, basically, we've got a report here, 2023 report we're going to use. There was about 376,000 plus licences sold in the 21-22 period, which is around about $14.7 million in revenue. Now
that in itself is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
That's a lot of money. So as we sort of dive into that a little bit further, they have like a rec fishing advisory council and a rec fish and salt trust expenditure committee, and someone to lobby this sort of expenditure. So it's sort of monitored to, and it has to go through a numerous amount of committees before whatever I guess particular grants get approved. But that advisory and committees and council are there to oversee how that money is spent, I guess, in the state of New South Wales.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I guess, Mick, my question is, as a recreational angler that pays my licence fee, so that money goes into this account.
That's right.
So what gets paid out of that? What, obviously grants, etc. But what else gets paid out of that?
Yeah, sure. So look, from previous money that they've got in that 21-22 season, even though they only brought in 14 whatever million, the previous year they brought in 15. But in saying that, they withdrew 18.4 million from the trust fund to fund lots of projects over New South Wales, right?
Yep.
Now, I've got here with me as well, we've also got the investment plan for the 4 years, so from 2021 through to pretty much 24 it is, and all particular projects are run through there. Now, as you go through this, there's literally hundreds, right?
There is, because I pressed print on the print and it wouldn't stop printing.
Yeah. And you know what, they range from like 5,000 through to over $1 million, right?
So what we're talking about here is might be foreshore upgrades, boat ramp upgrades, cleaning tray upgrades,
Yes.
all this sort of deal. Huh?
Yeah, that's right. So one thing that sort of come to mind, I found two in my local area, right? There's one to be done at the Brooms Head fish cleaning table that's there. If anyone's been to Brooms Head, they'll know where that is. It's right at the end of the caravan park near the headland.
Yep.
And also there was a grant for the Grafton District Services Club boat ramp which adjoins their, their block of units in Yamba.
Yep.
Okay, now we've I stuck my nose out and asked a few questions, but what I can say to you now is that the fish table at Brooms Head hasn't been done.
Yep.
But the one at Yamba has been the concrete. What it was, I think it was just all like potholes and all that, and they just pretty much put concrete or bitumen down.
So we're basically just using examples here in our local area, so you can go and check on these things and see what have been done. But obviously this goes for your local area as well. Like these things may have been done or may not have been done in your area.
Yeah. So look, if anyone's aware of this sort of stuff and have been to, or involved in other fishing clubs in the area, and there was talk where these grants got given to these fishing clubs or other associations, and you don't think you've seen it follow through, give us a yell, give us a call up, send us a message either on Facebook or our email account. We'd like to know, because at the moment, I mean, from what I've seen, it's a 50% strike rate for what we've had happen in this area.
For sure. And the thing is too, like, we don't want people to think that it's just a waste of time, their licenses either. If no one buys licenses, nothing's ever going to happen. So
I think it's also good to remember that it's not just clean tails, not just boat ramps. They're doing enhancements. Like they've put multiple fads out in New South Wales. Fish stocking programs. They're basically saying here that they've nearly done close to 6 million fish.
Yep.
Now, most of them, how would you read that, Joe? Most of them are native species.
Yeah. I'm gonna
freshwater.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that would be put into, say, our our cod, our yellow belly, and our Australian bass.
Which isn't surprising, because I think back in 2021, I think it was, or 22 maybe, we had a massive fish kill out west.
We did. Normally, so I'm not familiar with a lot of the dams in New South Wales with the stocking, but I am with Queensland with the Glen Line Dam.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of their money is raised off their own bat.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously they do get handouts from their stocking permits as well. But obviously they're not just relying on what has been dished out from the grants for this. Obviously the local fishing clubs, etc., for these waterways would still be doing their own fundraising as well on top of what we're seeing here.
Yeah, and look, I think in the current budget there, they've got 135 new projects approved at a cost of around about $23 million. So, that's obviously a lot of money that's going out there. But like I said, it's not just fish stocking, it's also the rejuvenation.
Yeah, for sure.
So we know that Ozfish play a massive part, I think, in this area and probably across the state, to be honest with you. Yeah. So, look, I know that they're also getting that money coming in as well. Also, jetties, pontoons,
walkways.
Yeah. I think that's the other thing that's an emerging thing that's coming out. That's been playing out recently is providing access for disabled people.
Yeah, for sure.
Guys with wheelchairs and the like. So it's a really, there's all sorts of things happening in this particular process. One thing that I guess, from the country, you sort of go, how much of that is being spent around the metro areas and how much is being spent?
That's exactly what I was just about to bring up.
So, look, I don't really have that answer. I haven't done the maths on all these projects that I've got in front of me. But I will say this. everyone that I look through, and, I look here and go, oh yeah, Port Macquarie Hastings Council, 25 grand. And then I go sort of a few other ones here. The FADs, for example, they've spent nearly about 200 or $250,000 on the FADs for enhancements, and then actual devices, another 300,000 on that. So yeah, it's a massive sort of thing where, okay, well that's good, but where are these going? Like how well is this put into the media, and how does someone like us that pay our licences find out about these things, or how's it sort of needs to come into more mainstream? Is probably what I'm getting at. Because a lot of our people that are listening, they wouldn't know about all this stuff. No. And look, to be honest with you, I didn't.
Not until we dove. To play devil's advocate just for a minute, like, I look at it and go, in our local area, in the Richmond Valley, so you got the upgrade to the Evans Head boat ramp. You got the huge upgrade down at the foreshore. The Coracai new pontoon. Woodburn had a huge upgrade. And then Kyogle, they spent a hell of a lot of money on the big, the new fish ladder system in the waterway. Now you look at Parole Casino. We've got the shit out disposal ramp. And we have a fish ladder that no longer works, which I know they're trying to get grants for currently. I've spoken about this. But for me, sitting back that's paying my licence, you're like, well, it's benefiting, say, the FADs and all this. I don't use those facilities.
That's
so it's not actually benefiting me. So I guess my next question is, if anyone in their local area, Mick, how would they go about getting a grant, or how does that work? Like,
well, this is a funny thing about the actual trust, right? I sort of thought that you'd have to be an organisation or whatever, but I believe here that anyone can apply for a grant, right? But just because you say I'm going to do this or change this, you got to back it up with some substance, right? You don't just go, oh, give us 20,000, we'll go talk about fishing for a couple of days. You'll be critiqued before this Fishing Advisory Council actually says, yep, this sounds great. And on that council, I've seen some names there that, I've seen them names before. So they're not people that are just aren't fishermen, they're fishermen.
They're people that are in the industry and involved with it as well.
So, look, we're just scrolling down through here. I guess the other thing is there's also funding for school kid programs, and
which probably isn't enough of, especially our areas.
No. Especially, I think in some of our local areas, we don't necessarily hear too much about it. And I know that there's some people running programs in metropolitan areas and probably areas to the south. I think a lot of that sort of stuff, once you sort of go north of that sort of mid-north coast, does get forgotten about just that little bit. Whether that's we're too close to Queensland scenario. So I was just looking through there. There's a program called Get Hooked. It's fun to fish education. Schools education program. So once again, if there's any listeners out there where their kids have been involved in a school fishing program and they know that this has been funded, that'd be good to sort of, if you could reach out. We noticed here, Ulmarra Public School, just down the road.
There you go. There we go.
There we go. So
we just said there's none here. There is.
Yeah. So
look, there is plenty. If anyone does want to look at this information that we're also looking at here, it's literally just on the DPI website. It's all available. Everyone can jump on and see it. It's not like we've hacked the system to get this information. Well, some of it. We hacked a little bit.
A little bit, not much. We try not to talk too much about that. Look, it's one of them things where, you sort of go, okay, well, that's great, but, where was I? Was I under a rock when they done this sort of stuff? And the motto about making fishing great again is actually knowing about these things happening. So, we've got an opportunity to get more people involved.
For sure. And I guess this is all part of, when you might do your fishing license online. It says, do you want the newsletter? And you tick no. Well, maybe you tick yes, because that's when this information comes out and we find out about this stuff.
That's 100% right. Now, one thing here is, and I noticed my little mate down the road had a photo there lately, not long ago. But,
ignore me, I've just put my neck out over here. I'm just doing some ninja moves.
A bit sore. is the tagging program. Have you had much to do with that sort of thing?
I have. It's not something I'm going to dive into right now.
Okay.
It is. I have reached out about it. Basically, they don't want to do anything with bass. Basically, they're like, no, it's a waste of time with bass. We don't want to do anything. Where we know with Queensland, they're all about it. They'll give anyone a tagging gun for bass. I have reached out. I can't think of the gentleman's name off the top of my head now, but I did reach out. I haven't done anything about it because I just got a bit slack with it. But there is programs for the Mulloway, and I was going to get involved with that. But look, to be honest, it was probably not really suited to what I was doing.
Yeah,
my rock fishing style. Look, we do keep them off the rocks, and there's no sort of point of tagging a fish.
And then trying to release.
So I think that that Mulloway tagging is really suited to guys in the river in their boats.
But
yeah, we're looking there like the snapper, the dolphin fish.
So we're just looking at the top 10 tagged and recaptured, obviously going back a year, 22, 23. But black marlin seems to be the flavour of the day.
So what do we? So we've got 3,000 fish basically tagged with a recapture rate of
45.
45.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. Blue marlins a lot significant less, but we're going to forget the marlins and the tunas. We'll go through to the Mulloway. I think that's actually quite interesting.
Yeah.
Out of 655 that were tagged, there was 100 recaptures. So that's like.
Well, it's like a 1 in 6, isn't it?
1 in 6, yeah. So that's pretty neat. So yeah, anyway, we won't have to dive into too much of that, but there is some cool
But
stats.
I will bring that up, and I don't know whether in the salt water section, but there's no freshwater fish there in that particular space. Now, I might be in the saltwater space, so I'm just going to keep rolling down.
There and see if we get some more stats. But this is the sort of thing that your money's going towards, to do all these stats, to do all this stuff. And like I said before, as a recreational fisherman, it is hard to sit back and wonder where is that money going exactly.
Yeah. So obviously, here we go. We're just scrolling down into the...
We're getting into some non-rusty species now.
Yeah, some trout, but they didn't really go back into Fish Grains Australia, that is. They don't really go into too much about the tagging for freshwater species, which I do find strange.
I'm not sure what's going on. As I said, I have pressed the thing about the bass tagging before, and every time it just hits a dead end. Now, this is a pretty cool. This is sort of off topic to what we're talking about, but this is something pretty cool to bring up.
Well,
here
it is.
now.
It is, but it isn't, because part of this recreational fishing trust is actually funding fisheries officers.
Now, if you're the bloke that goes, oh, the fucking fisheries are out again, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, you got fucking nothing to worry about. They're out doing their job. How do I say this? We saw some gentlemen today of a certain... how do you say that without getting a certain appearance? We'll just roll with that. They walked straight out the wall, and they literally started casting into the 6 metre sea straight in their face. And my mate was with me, goes, and they wonder why they get rescued. No idea. And I can guarantee you that there was no fish ruler on board.
Okay.
Now, I've got some opinions here. The top of the list, so this is top 10 seized fish. Now, this would be off the back of getting pulled up by fisheries and having undersized fish.
Yes.
We've got 471 jewfish at the very top of the list. Now, this is an easy one. It is because the last run of increase in sizes weren't really that well populated, publicated, and people didn't know about it. Which...
One thing there is that the Mulloway or jewfish, they went quite up, didn't it? It was like from 45
to 70. So
70.
I think actually there was 60 in the middle. I think there could have been a 60 momentary. But just quickly, because there's a couple of really cool ones I want to touch on there. Another reason there's so many Mulloways seized, unfortunately, people that don't fish a lot in the ocean will catch thinking it's a trag. Throw it in the bin and get back and it's a Jew. So I can kind of understand why that's there. Now, the next one's a no-brainer. 455 Taylor. That is because everyone keeps them for bait and they don't measure them. I don't... Look, they're 450 55 people that have broken the law, but to be honest,
It's
you're keeping a
tailor.
20 centimetre tailor to
it's
use for bait.
tailor.
I don't really see the problem with that. Yellowfin brim, 400 odd. Obviously, that is a big problem, especially in those metropolitan areas.
I think so.
Probably
I
some
think-
of the people that we just mentioned
Yeah.
before.
I think I'd be interested to see how many got pulled up in metropolitan areas.
Yes.
But just in talking about this, there was just over 1,400 penalty notices, totaling to just under $500,000
yeah.
in fines, and then 72 prosecution auctions. Sorry, yep.
Actions.
Auctions. So
We're selling off the people's gear. It's been a long day.
I've been on Grays online, so yeah, auction action. Anyhow, look, so yeah, I think that's good
That's
to
interesting.
know.
Now, I'm just going to touch on this 185 undersized snapper. All them people need their fucking assholes kicking because I think a snapper's 30 or 32 or something.
Yeah.
That ain't a bit. You don't need to. I don't know how you're keeping an undersized snapper, but
Mullet's another one.
I can guarantee you 85 mullet charges. I know how they were caught. That was on a 3 pointed treble, most likely. But anyway, that is quite interesting, and it's a good point that you do point out. Obviously, the revenue raised off the back of our licenses are paying those officers. And look, if you're doing the right thing, you have nothing to worry about.
That's 100% right.
And we want them on the water making an appearance. So yeah, good on them. They're just doing their job at the end of the day. And it's like a policeman. If when you get pulled up, you treat them with respect, they'll treat you with the exact same respect.
Yeah. So, look, that's really sort of brings us to the end of what we're doing. However, I just want to read some of the things that have been funded, and I'll sort of target the bigger ones. And if someone wants to let us know how that's going,
yeah. But because the other, we need to know if this stuff's getting followed through. And this is my next question: is anyone double checking this? Who? Okay, the advisory council are there to the appointed.
Yep.
Is there someone in charge of going back an X amount of time to see if these grants have actually been spent by the local organisation?
Yeah. Well, see, this is what needs to happen, right? Because this is a 4-year report. Yeah, we're coming to the end of 2024. Now, I'm just going to use the Brooms Head boat ramp, the fish cleaning table as an example.
Yep.
And that example is that the time's running out and it hasn't been done yet. Now, that's I think it was only like 10 or 12 grand, right? So we're not talking big money.
No, but
let's just go here. I've just got one here for about $250,000. Now, I'll probably say this place wrong, and I apologise, but light watercraft launching facility in Lugano,
yep, you've nailed that.
Okay, Georges River. Now, the person that's I guess the constructing authority or who's managing the project is Georges River's council, right?
Yep.
So I guess the question is, has that been done? Because I know that cleaning table, that was Clarence Valley Council. Okay,
Yep.
So I'm sort of picking on councils here a bit.
Well, they do lean on their shovels a lot and do fuck all. So, shout out to Big T.
Big T. But he doesn't lean. He sits in a grader all day.
Yeah, he definitely. No, we won't go there. I was going to say it needs to be a big shovel. Shout out Big T.
Yeah, so
I'm just sort of running my eye over here as Mick's flicking through, and there's a lot of around that $250,000.
Yeah, that's right. So I've got a big one here. Enhancing coastal recreation fishing opportunities by installing 2 new offshore artificial reefs. So the recent New South Wales Government Expression of Interest survey has identified more artificial reefs are being high priority for recreational fishers. Stakeholders' expectations, which means us because we're paying the fees, right?
Exactly.
Are sort of saying, well, we want to have high, quality artificial reefs. The recent New South Wales Government expressed an interest to surveys identify for more artificial reefs as being a high priority for recreational fishers. The expectations of this program to continue to remain high as artificial reefs are well accepted as an excellent way to maximise recreational fishing opportunities along the New South Wales coast. Installation methods and reef designs continue to improve as the program evolves, resulting in high quality fish habitat for recreational targeted species. This project will involve the delivery of 2 new offshore artificial reefs in 2022. Now,
where the fuck are they going?
That's great.
It doesn't say
That's right.
anywhere
Yeah.
of who's going to benefit out of those artificial
That's
reefs.
right.
Because on the north coast, anywhere from Port Macquarie up, we don't need any artificial reefs.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
good.
Yep,
Like, we're
100%.
good to go.
Yep.
So, to me,
seems a bit strange.
seems like a waste of money. Now, I'm just going to skip back, I think it was to the page before that, or might have been just up here,
Yep.
where I see the Gaydon Fish Hatchery.
Ah, yep.
They spended
Yep, nearly $750,000.
$750,000.
Yep.
I get that.
Yep.
It's a fish hatchery. I
Yep.
get investing in future fish stocks, but to put $1 million
Yep.
into an artificial reef, which is underclosed of where it actually is,
That's right.
I struggle with things like that.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
I'm sure we could dive in and actually find out where they'd
We
gone.
probably could find out, but I think
That's the whole point of this is some of it's, I think, justifiable, and some of it just seems like a little bit of a waste. Like that could have.
there's not enough substance around some of these things, I think, is what we're getting at. And if you're going to put something out like this, I think it needs to sort of say, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it in this time, you come back and say that we didn't spend it because we done the environmental and planning research around it,
Yeah, exactly.
and we just say it wasn't viable, it was going to fuck the environment, whatever the case might have been, right?
Yeah.
So, but I think there needs to be more clarity, especially when you're spending over $1 million.
Yeah.
It should be spelt out in capitals what you're doing.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that, mate. But I hope that sort of gives a little bit of a round out to people on possibly where that $35 a year goes.
Yeah.
Because I know I do have a hard time justifying, like paying that when it's like, well, okay, yeah, people are benefiting out of it, but do I personally benefit from that? And a lot of the time, probably not.
No. And I think there's a couple of points that you brought up, regional versus metropolitan spend.
Yep.
And, I find the bass sort of thing quite astounding, to be frank with you.
Yeah.
Like we have closed seasons around here to protect their breeding and alike. Does that mean that we just know everything about them?
Yeah, I'm not, as I said, I'm not going to dive into it too much because I don't know exactly what's behind it. But I think it's just basically the answer I got was like, well, we're better off to put resources into other stuff. We sort of don't need that data now. Like we don't really, there's enough data out there with tagged bass in other states. So do we really need that sort of data? Like, do we need to know how long he grew? Like, it's not like they're in a crisis at the present time.
No. But I think it's probably, I'm going to put it out there that different climate, different conditions is obviously going to affect how that fish comes along.
Oh, yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
But, I think that pretty well we'll round that off.
We'll round that off.
Yeah.
And look, what we want to do is we want to create a Facebook poll.
Yep.
And we just want to know, do you guys think that you guys are getting bang for buck
Yep.
for your fishing licence? Because, we've put a few little questions out there. And, if anyone wants to tell us we're raving lunatics by, just calling a few of these things out, then please let us know and correct us if we're wrong in some of this.
of course.
And look, we can't fly all over the state either and see all these wonderful things happening. But as I said, in my particular area, there was two projects that were taken or that were in that plan. And unfortunately, one of them hasn't been done yet. And we're
not just talking, it was past 2 months ago either. Like, it's been some considerable amount of time still yet to be done. So, reach out, let us know. And like Mick said earlier in the piece, if there's something maybe in your local area that you don't think's been done, we might be able to look into it. We're not no gurus at this, but if we can help out in any way, shoot through an email, let us know for sure. But
and we'd be curious to know too.
Is it just a one-off in our area, or is this happening all over? And my big question is, what happens to this money if it doesn't get spent? That's my answer.
I'm going to throw just a little bit out there, just on that topic, because it's pretty much just like a trust fund, right? So it shouldn't be affected, it should stay in there and roll over to the next thing. The catch is that some of these projects would be partially funded by the government or possibly other groups. And with government, if you generally don't spend it in that financial year, you're not going to get it the next year,
it's
right?
gone.
Treasury takes it and goes and puts it into another program. Okay. So anyhow, look, I think that's enough
That's
of that
enough
there
on
now.
that. Yep.
Now, you got a yarn for us?
Got a bit of a yarn here. Now, we are super high tech here today, guys.
We've had a bit of a blowout.
Bit of a blowout. The lead we need's not here, and our earphones are here.
Yeah.
And another bit of the lead's not here, but this is some of the new equipment that's coming, so stay posted. But we're just gonna, I'm just gonna quickly work out how we can, how do we speaker that up? Just bear with me here. All right, I'm gonna hold it to my microphone. This is pretty high tech. Let's hit it.
How are you two pelicans? Just a bit of a shout out here to a very dear friend of mine. Took him rock fishing for the first time the other afternoon after a few nice juicy tailor. And look, very athletic bloke, built like Usain Bolt, bit of a machine, you know. And yeah, gets down there in the rock ledge, and first little wave that rolled through, fucking knocked the fucking ass over and fucking drowned him and filled his raincoat up with water, and yeah, couldn't help but have a fucking bit of a giggle. And then every wave that rolled through after that, he fucking stood there like a praying mantis, so he didn't get knocked over. Total concentration. So yeah, shout out to you, Westy, the new Rock Ninja. See you, pelicans.
So that was a self-emitted yarn this week. I thoroughly enjoyed in watching that, and I enjoyed every second of it. Although, be safe out there like we mentioned.
That's right. So, not pouring the piss out of Westy, is he much of a rock hopper, or?
That was the first and most likely the last time he'll ever be on the rock.
Oh, right, okay, yep.
But no, the big fella did pretty good, but it was pretty tough out there anyway. But mate, we've had some serious...
a couple of little tech glitches today.
Tech glitches, this will be a fucking nightmare to stitch together because the camera keeps overheating because we're in the sun here, but that's all right.
That's okay.
Get involved, guys. Two Pelicans Podcast at gmail.com. We want to hear yarns, all the bits and pieces, and let us know if there's anything we can help you out with today's episode. Please let us know and stay posted because we have some pretty cool content coming.
And just like we mentioned before, look, if you can hit the auto download on Spotify, it goes a long way for us without you guys having to fork out a fortune.
Exactly.
But it's really looking after us. And as always, Patreon there, $3 a month, cheaper than a can. So, mate, yeah, we'd really love what you guys are doing, helping us out thus far. And we just want that to keep continuing.
Rightio, guys, until the next episode, I'm Joey.
I'm Mick.
And we are the Two Pelicans. You.